So let's see. Let me take a look. Here.
Now, Slim, you can see only the presentation, right?
Let me check because I'm opening another. Yes.
Now full screen.
Yes, it's better. We need to start until Dr. K. So hello everyone. I'm Slim Othman, the volunteer event manager for Architects of Qatar. I hope you are well and in the best of health. I'm glad to have you all with us today for our online top talk entitled Constantine, or Cirta, City of Eight Bridges. The talk will be presented by architect Djaber, and I will be your moderator for today. So allow me to define the Architects Hub in few words. Architects Hub Qatar is a non-profit architectural association registered in Qatar under the QFC, the Qatar Financial Center Authority. Our hub talks are events to harness the diverse and intellectual wisdom of the crowd, keeping architects connected to peers and the wider market, local and global. Also, let me remind you that our session will be recorded. We will be also live streaming on Facebook as well. Please abide by these simple rules. All the attendees should be on mute during the presentation of Djaber. After that, we will open the floor for engagement with you. Just raise your hands or just put your question in the chat and we will take care of it. About Djaber, Djaber is born in Constantine, Algeria. He's an architect, graduated from Mentouri University of Constantine in 2003. He's a senior architect in CG International in Qatar since 2014. Djaber also is a volunteer with Architects Hub Qatar since 2017. Thanks again for the attendance, and I'm sure you will enjoy the presentation. Djaber, the floor is yours.
Okay. Good evening, honorable attendees. Thanks to everyone for attending this seminar. It's a great honor for me to be here with you. Special thanks to Mrs. Omaima and Architects Hub to give me this opportunity and invited me to speak. You are really going to enjoy the time with speak together this evening. I am going to share with you some of the most important ideas about my hometown, Constantine. Now, this is the summary for the presentation. I will speak about the geographic location, the history of Constantine, from the prehistoric period to the French colonial period. After that, I will speak about bridges and sacred remains for Constantine and some landmarks. After that, arts and crafts. First of all, the natural defensive site of the old city made it a real fortress where it was a destination for many civilizations. And on this presentation, I will provide a brief summary for the history, because Constantine has a long history and many civilizations. Here we can see on these slides the craziest high of the city and how low the wall is before nearly 200-meter drawdown the gorge, and you can see it here in these slides. Now the geographical location. Constantine is located in the northeastern of Algeria. It's regarded as the capital of eastern of Algeria and the commercial center of its region. Now the history for the old city Cirta. Here you can see its old photo for the Cirta. The natural defensive site of the old Cirta made it a real fortress and was an undeniable asset for its foundation. It has been occupied since the earliest time by many civilizations. First off, we can start by the prehistory period, 14,000 to 9,000 years BC. The city was occupied by oldest human, and we can see here the remains for this period. We can see the dolmen and Bazina. This dolmen is a megalithic monument consisting of slabs erected vertically, forming a rectangular room and covered with a slab laid horizontally. Here we have dolmen ceramic. They found this inside these dolmens, and these dolmens are existing till now in Constantine. If you will visit Constantine, you can see this still existing. The second period is Antiquity period between 7th and 6th century BC. The Cirta was the capital city of the Berber Kingdom of Numidia. The king Massinissa gave the name for the Constantine, gave them the name Cirta. On the right of the slide, we can see the tomb of the king of this period, Numido-Punic period, Massinissa. Now the Roman Empire. Constantine, called also Cirta during Roman times, and Constantina in honor of Emperor Constantine the Great. On the right, this is the statue of the Constantine the Great, and the photo on the bottom. You can see its remains for the bridge from the Roman Empire. Here we have also this aqueduct from a Roman period. It's one of the few archaeological sites still standing and visible in the center of Constantine. Its arcades are also the pride of the city of bridges, despite the succession of civilization, especially with repeated acts of vandalism. Now, this slide presents the Arab-Muslim period from 7th to 16th century. On the left, we have Cirta, the city. We can see the roads, the primary roads, the secondary roads, and radiant alleys. And on the right of the slide, we can see the urban fabric for the old city with juxtaposition of the houses it's a result the circulation and the networking circulation for this city. Like most of the Maghreb Medina, Constantine presents a complex and compact cellular urban fabric of house with central courtyard covered with roof tiles. linked by a network of narrow streets and alleys. Here we have a photo from the sky. We can see the house and the urban fabric for the old city Cirta, with house covered by tiles, and for each house we can see the patio or courtyard on the middle. And for the architectural sense on the city, all the openings, it shows that all the openings and balconies exist only on the inner wall or courtyard. Reason for preserve privacy to social and cultural traditions. Here we have examples of the streets and alleys on the city. You can see the narrow alleys here and houses. Here one example of preserved house still existing in the city with internal courtyard. Here Benchiku family house still existing also. Here we have the plan. You can see the courtyard, and around we have the rooms, the living room, all the. Here another house, Arabic house. Now we have Jama' al-Kibir mosque. The mosque has been impacted by the Osmanian cutting in French period, colonial period. Here you can see on the bottom left on the slide, you can see the mosque was cutting for the Osmanian cutting. Now the Ottoman period, 1522, it's between 1522 and 1830. We have here the famous Qasr Ahmed Bey Palace, still existing in the old city. Construction commencement was in 1825 and completion was in 1835 under the reign of the last Bey Haj Ahmed, 2 years before the fall of Constantine into French occupation.
Djaber?
Yes.
Sorry to interrupt you, but I think Professor Hossein is here, Bumaza. Welcome, okay. Professor. Just welcome him.
Okay. Hello, Mr. Bumaza.
Can you hear us? I think he... Okay, Djaber, keep going. And if he can hear us, just write for us any message on the chat, Dr. Hussein.
You can send him a message. Maybe he will reply.
Okay, because he don't have the icon of microphone in front of his name. This is why. Okay, Djaber, sorry to interrupt you. Thank you.
Okay. Now on this slide, we can see the courtyard, the internal courtyard, because the Ahmed Bey Palace has 3 courtyards. The palace consists of 3 suites and a garden where orange trees and palm trees are planted. The suites are connected to the hallway, which has arcs supported by 266 columns made of marbles. Here we can see the palms and internal courtyard with columns and arches. There are also 3 courtyards and 2 fountains made of marble. The ceiling are tiled with marble as well. On the bottom right for the slide, we can see the many types of ceramic tiles with Arabo-Muslim design from this period. Also, when we speak about wood, there are 540 doors made of cedar woods, inscribed and engraved with different sculptures and decoration. Also, for the paint, more than 2,000 square meters of palace walls were decorated with paintings depicting Ahmed Bey's travels to Alexandria, Tripoli, and Algeria, as well as 15 months of travel to Istanbul, Cairo, and Hijaz in 1818 and 1819, in addition to other travels before and after his reign as Bey of Constantine. Now, the French colonial period between 1830 and 1962. We have two different cards here, or plans. The first on the left, it's Constantine in 1937. It means before the French colonization. We can see here the road, the street are different from the other plan on the right. On the right, you have the Constantine after Osmanian cutting, after the French occupation. During the conquest of Algeria by the French, Constantine was taken in 1837 after a failure in 1836. Here we have the new buildings, because French, when colonized Constantine or all Algeria, they demolish everything. After they built new buildings. After the city fell down in 1836, the new authority imposed its vision of power toward the local society. In this period, the Constantine citizens haven't any way or method to preserve their traditions, cultural and even themselves. Moreover, a big part of Medina was destroyed and replaced with new European architecture to express the dominance and power of the occupation authority. Sorry, we can this on the right top of the slide. This is the main theater in Constantine. On the bottom, we have La Madrasa. On the top left, this is the l'Hôtel de Ville. Here, one of the buildings in the new extension, and the bottom is Cirta Hotel. Now, the main subject, the bridges of Constantine. Here we can see this card or plan. We can see the 8 bridges. Pont des Chutes on the left, on the top. Sidim Sid bridges, Bab al-Qantara bridges, Salih Bey bridges on the bottom. Sorry. The city is unique for having a deep river gorge running right through its center. 5 classic bridges cross the deepest section of this natural barrier, including Bab al-Qantara, Sidi Rashid, Sidim Sid, and Pasr al-Perego and Salih Bey. The highest of all is the Sidim Sid suspension bridge. Sidi Rashid Viaduct, the first bridge, the long bridge, built between 1908 or 1908 and 1912 by the engineer Oben Erort and Paul Séjourné. The length of the bridge is 447 meters with 27 arches including one of 70 meters, the highest culminating at 107 meters. It is the tallest bridge with stone in the world. On the top left of the slide, you can see the bridge with many arches and the long arches with 70 meters. This is the location of the bridge in Cirta, the old city. This is photo from the sky. City Rashid Bridge is a road viaduct that crosses the deep Rhumel gorges and connects the old city Cirta to the new Constantine or to the new extension city. Sidi Rashid Bridge is a stone masonry arch bridge made of 27 arcades. The typical arcade has a clear span of 9 meters, roughly. There are another 4 arches with 16 meters span, one with 30 meter span, and the main arcade crossing the Rhumel with 70 meter clear span. Here we can see the construction for the bridge. On that time, they use a complex timber and complex formwork for the construction of the main arch. And Sidi Rashid also is one of the highest and largest concrete arch bridges in the world, opened its completion in 1912. The Sidi Rashid Bridge also spans the mouth of the deep Rhumel River gorge in the terrace-filled city of Constantine. Here we can see the geological section of the right side of the Sidi Rashid Bridge. We can see the slope of the mountain. Second bridge is Sidi Msid Bridge with 164 meter long suspension bridge across the deep Rhumel River in Constantine, opened to traffic in April 1912. Sidi Msid Bridge is a road that crosses the Rhumel gorges and connects to the city Cirta to the new Constantine city extension. Designed by French engineer Ferdinand Arnaudin, the Sidi Msid Bridge is supported by 2 cables, each made of 6 spiral strands ropes, 76 mm in diameter. This is the section across the bridge. We can see the height with 175 meter and the span with long with 164 meter. For 70 years, Sidi Msid Bridge was the world's highest bridge before Colorado's Royal Gorge Bridge opened in 1929. Here's a photo of the bridge. In 2000, the Sidi Msid Bridge was given a major renovation. 12 of its cables were replaced because of corrosion. Here we can see the pylons with masonry, stone masonry. Under the bridge, we can see a natural bridge almost directly under the span and above the Rhumel River. It's a natural bridge. Here, Sidi Msid night or evening. The third bridge, Berber Bridge, Berber Kingdom, located between the Sidi Msid Bridge and the Sidi Rashid Bridge, with 125 meters high and 57 meters span, one of 4 famous high-level bridges that cross the Rhumel River Gorge in Constantine. Alcantara Bridge is the oldest and has taken several different forms over the years, from a Roman-style multi-arch bridge to an iron arch than the current form as a concrete arch bridge. Here we can see the two superimposed stone bridges, one Roman in the Antiquity period, and the other Turkish under Salih Bey reign 1972. On the right of the slide, on the left, after the Iron Arch, rebuilt between 1860 and 1863 under French colonization, with main metal arch resting on two stone pylons. After that, with concrete arch, the bridge with iron arch was destroyed in 1922 and was extensively redesigned in 1951 with concrete arch. This is the actual bridge, the Berber bridge with concrete arch. Now the bridge number 4, its name Perego or Mellah Slimane Footbridge, inaugurated in 1925 by the engineer Ferdinand Arnondis. Also, Mellah Slimane Bridge is a pedestrian bridge that crosses the Rhumel gorges and connects the old city Cirta to the new Constantine city extension through an elevator. Structure is suspension cable stays and masonry pylons. Dimensions is 125 meter long, 2.40 meter width, and 10700 meter high. This is the elevator in front of. You can see in front of the photo. You can see the elevator leading to the old city because of due to the geographical site. We have difference of the level. Because of this, they provide elevator. Now the Falls bridge. The Fall Bridge is under the Sidim Sid Bridge, built in 1925. The Falls Bridge, which is also called the Sidim Sid Bridge, crosses the Rhumel just at the exit of the gorges, almost under the Sidim Sid footbridge. The water of the Wadi rush then in several falls from a height of 80 meters towards the plain of Hama. Very beautiful panorama also. You can see here on this photo. Now, bridge number 6, Devil's Bridge. The Devil's Bridge marks the entrance to the high gorges. This bridge is for pedestrian only. Now, Salih Bey Viaduct. The bridge named after Salih Bey, whose rule of the city between 1771 and 1797. The newest crossing opened in 2014 after more than 100 years in the form of the spectacular Salih Bey Cable Stayed Bridge. Longest with 756 meters for the main viaduct and 4.3 kilometers counting the connections and access. Resting on 8 shrouds and culminating at 130 meters. The bridge is relatively wide with 2 lanes and a sidewalk on each side. The pylons are centrally located, separating the carriageways to either side. The Salih Bey Bridge is built by the Brazilian group and Qatar's work began in 2010 and was completed in July 2014. Now the bridge number 8, a Roman and Turkish bridge. It's under the Berber bridge. 2 superimposed stone bridge, 1 Roman and 1 Turkish. Now, sacred remains of Constantine. We have a monument of dead, monument aux morts, location here on the other side of the city. The monument commemorates commemorates the victims of World War I. The memorial bears the engraved names of some 800 soldiers and citizens, Muslims, Christians, and Jews who hailed from Constantine. Here we can see a semicircular terrace with a panoramic view of the Valley Rhumel, captioned with an orientation table made in 1936. And above the monument, there is triumphal at 635 meters with a 21-meter tall triumphal arch topped by a victory statue made by sculptor Epstein. Stands off a cliff overlooking the valley and the city. In front of it lays a terrace from which you have a clear, panoramic view of the surroundings. Now we have ruins of the Roman aqueduct. These arcades are the remains of Roman aqueduct which brought water from Bumerzouk to Constantine city. This aqueduct was estimated to be over 70 meters high. The Roman aqueduct remains one of the few archaeological sites still standing and visible in the center of Constantine. Its arcades are also the pride of the city of bridges, despite the succession of civilizations, especially with repeated acts of vandalism. Now we can see the statue of Our Lady of Peace. La statue de Notre-Dame de la Paix. The statue of Our Lady of Peace dominates the Hama plain, very close to the Monument aux Morts. Now we have this Sidimsid lift, opened in 1934. From the outside, only a few masonry elements indicate the presence of this elevator. It starts from one of the stone tunnels on the Boulevard de l'Abîme, arriving more than 130 meters below near the falls bridges. It was the perfect way to get to the Sidimsid pools. Here we have the stone tunnel and the main entrance for the lift. Also, we have many stone tunnels in Constantine, the old Constantine. Now, Constantine's landmarks. We have Al-Amir Abdel Qadir Mosque. This mosque was inaugurated in 1994. The project started in 1970 as a desire to build a mosque capable of accommodating 10,000 in its prayer hall. The mosque is one of the world's largest mosques and Algeria's first modern Islamic university. Here we can see the plan for the mosque. On the left, we have the university, and the other side, the right, the mosque, the prayer room, and for the mosque. Here the elevation, side elevation. The minaret, dominated by minaret 107 meters high. Here we can see different view for the mosque and the university, Islamic university, with court, internal courtyard. The main courtyard, we have Musharabia. The dome culminating at 64 meters. Here we can see the internal of the mosque, the main home prayer room with many sculpture, mosaics, capitals, some details also for the decoration for the mosque. In the same complex on the other facade is the Islamic University. This university consists of 3 levels. On the ground floor, the central space is occupied by the large conference room, above which is the courtyard with its large pool, surrounded by wide corridors in the form of glazed arches. Now, the University of Constantine, Mentouri University by the architect Oscar. Yes?
Can you just go a bit faster because we are running out of time? Just keep going, you still have some minutes.
Yes, this is the university. Like this you want, quickly? Just running?
No, not just running, but try to go directly to the point because we are out of time.
Yes, okay. This is blocks and buildings in the University of Constantine, designed by architect Oscar Nier. This is Faculty of Science, Administration, Refectory, Library. Now, the last point, the arts and crafts. We have the brassware activity, especially for Constantine. We have shops in the old city. We have the traditional dress for wedding for women. This is the traditional dress for women. It's old because in Constantine, the Malaya, called Malaya, is a symbol of the Constantine woman, and this relationship is sacred and has a link to a spiritual factor that expresses the identity and origin of the city, given that the Constantinople had taken on the black color a dress of sorrow for the Bey of Constantine Salih Bey, who ruled Constantine for a short period. Here we have distillation of flower aromas. On the left, rose water, and on the right, orange blossom water. And finish bibliography. And thank you.
Thank you so much, Djaber, for this great presentation. I think everyone now is thinking to buy a ticket and go to
I hope so.
Yes, it's really rich. I want to give the opportunity.
It's a quick presentation with only mainly items.
Yes, I know. We gave you the whole night. We will never stop talking about Constantine. Just want to thank you again, and I will let people engage who want to ask any question. Otherwise, I will ask myself.
Yeah. We have here Mr. Boumaza, who can.
Okay.
Hello, Mr. Boumaza.
Yeah. Hello.
How are you?
Hello, everybody. Fine. How are you?
Fine.
Finally, we got to Professor Boumaza.
Thank you.
Just introduce you in few words, Mr. Boumaza Hussein. He's Algerian from Constantine. He's in the field of architecture since June 1983 from University of Constantine. Yes, you have a master's degree from the School of Architecture and Design, University of Colorado at Denver. He's teaching in the University of Constantine since 1987. He's a senior architect designer, architecture du temps, which is architecture of time, in architecture office from 1991 until 2000. He's a manager at Artec architecture office from 2000. I think I'll just stop here and I will give you the speech. Welcome again, Architect Hussein.
Okay, thank you. Thank you.
Mr. Boumaza, if you want to add something to the presentation, or you want
can you hear me?
Yes.
Yes. Okay, so I'm gonna start by some quotes concerning Constantine from authors, very known authors. And I'm starting with the appellation of Constantine. It has been called by several writers city of air, city of passion, the flying island of Gulliver, the rock city, the fortress city, the mystic city, the Gruyere city, the city where the man is higher than the eagles, the town city, the city of bridges, the city of science and scholars. All those appellations are concerned with the history of Constantine and the actual aspect of Constantine. Constantine has always been at a crossroad of civilizations, where the Orient and the Occident meet and coexist in harmony. From antique periods until nowadays, Constantine has always embraced the Orient and the Occident simultaneously. For instance, Rome and Carthage were omnipresent in its existence. It has played a role, and not the least, in the conflict between these superpowers of the ancient times from 264 till 146 BC. From Phoenician, as far as the historic collections go, the Numidian and finally Roman, Constantine knew very different occupants. And so very different cultures during this era. It was called Siwa, the royal city, then Cirta, the village, and finally Constantine in relation with the Emperor Constantine the Great. These are the different names the city has and used to have. During the Islamic period, Constantine was an important city at the crossroads of the Middle East and Europe, to quote Andalusia from the northwest, and Italy, the northeast. Consequently, it took benefit from all cultural and commercial exchanges between Europe and the Islamic world. This aspect of historical position made its current heritage. As it happens with the culinary traditions and the unmissable Andalusian music, especially the Malouf. Constantine used to have a tight relation with Sicilia, Malta, and Italy, especially Geneva, and at the other part with Grenade and Cordoba. A lot of trade and so many events occurred during these times with Southern Europe. The Ottoman period has reinforced this multicultural aspect, as itself was another crossroad of these civilizations. Then comes the French occupancy, which brought another character to the Occidental civilization with a strong and very recent influence. This period had a lot of modeled layout and the aspect of the city. The first major extensions out of the city walls were then made. This was the first time when the city overrides its natural protection, which long became more an obstacle for the city expansion than advantageous aspect. All these periods associated with the contemporary world made of Constantine a very plural city in different aspects, and so it affected its culture from the culinary art to the architecture, quoting as, for example, jewelry, brasswork, tannery, tapestry, distillery, pastry, embroidery, ceramic work, and so on. Constantine is currently holding among the most refined arts and crafts in North Africa. You cannot talk about Constantine without regarding the whole aspect of its culture. This city is so old and its history is so deeply engraved that scenes and stories always occur when caught in it. To take a tour in Constantine is quite much as traveling in space and time. Each street, corner, building, site, or even stone reminds you an exciting event. Constantine is not a location, it's a place. There has never been a loss of place in its history. Above all, Constantine is a site before or even during its existence. The site made the city. Constantine has been edified on the top of huge rocks surrounded by considerably deep canyon where runs a torrent river, Rhumel, which has deeply dug the enormous ditch, the canyon that protects the city from any eventual invasion. It's a very spectacular defensive site, but by protecting the city, it isolated it from its rich environment made of fairy plains. This fact made the bridges kind of a hope to escape from the contiguous environment to the huge open space in the surrounding. This is a very conflictual and contradictory aspect. This is what Constantine is mostly about. In this city, you experience contrast and contradictions as no other part else. So I think this is another aspect of Constantine I gave you. It's very
yes, it's
very
another
short and it's very bad.
Yes, thank you. It's another definition to Constantine. As a Tunisian, I know that Constantine is a specific city from Algeria, and no one from Tunisia go once to Constantine without coming back again. It's really mysterious city. No one go there once. He should come back for sure. So I will just read some questions from the chat. Djaber Umayma is asking about what? Is it open to investments and international ownership? So Umayma wants to buy a new home. Can she buy a home there in Constantine?
Fortunately, foreigners cannot have a
home.
Cannot invest. No, but you can invest in with the local people. I think it's they are changing the law, and I think they will have now it's 51-49 in many other parts of the world, but I think they are trying to change it from 50-50. But you cannot own whatever in Algeria.
It's not like Morocco. Not like Morocco, you can buy your own house. Algeria, not yet.
Yes, and what about the government? Does the government encourage to the investment in tourism? So, or it's not, because from the presentation and from the speech that you are dealing, there is many places to go and to visit and to enjoy in Algeria, and especially in Constantine.
Yes.
But internationally, Algeria is between Tunisia and Morocco, and those two areas, Tunisia and Algeria, Tunisia and Morocco, are really known, and our economy is based on the tourism. But Algeria, no, there isn't. Do you think why is that?
It's political aspect, right, Mr. Mumaza?
Yeah, that's since 1962, it was a political choice. It's just
Yeah.
a choice.
Yes,
Yeah.
It's just a
until
choice to close.
until
Yeah.
now, there is no initiative to open Algeria for tourists all over
No,
the
there
world.
is. There is initiative, yes. Especially for the desert.
Mm-hmm.
Desert, there are many, yeah, yes. To Tamnaraset, Timimoun, Adrar. We have many very good places in the on the south. But for Constantine, I don't know if we have tourism now. A long time, I don't know about Constantine. 6 years now.
No, it's very weak. It's not really. You cannot talk about it. So it's there are very few
It's
tourists,
minor.
and first of all, you don't have the infrastructure,
Hotels.
and second, we said before, policies in Algeria doesn't policies in Algeria don't encourage tourism. So till now, you don't have hotels, you don't have any whatever structure to welcome tourists.
Now we have Marriott Hotel. We can receive many
No, it's
tourists. Huh?
But it's mainly for
Marriott.
businessmen, I think.
Marriott?
Yes.
no, you don't have.
We have
It's
Novotel.
still in Constantine. You have not. You have Marriott.
Marriott, yes.
You have Novotel.
Ibis.
You have Protea. Those are the main international hotels you have in Constantine. All the others are local label, local labels. So, but prices remain very high
That's
comparing
what I was
to
asking.
whatever in the world.
So the government is not encouraging people to go, even
No.
even Algerian themselves. There is no
Now,
internal.
if you speak about Algerian, impossible one Algerian go
Yani,
to hotel.
one of from the west, from Wahran or from the capital, just he will take his car and go to Constantine. He will not find. He's not able to find any cheap prices. There is no encouragement from the government for internal tourism. No.
No, you don't have that. You don't have it either. So
Hopefully soon.
and people, when people travel in Algeria, mostly they go to see friends, and very few of them go to hotels. And as I said, still hotels remain very expensive.
Umayma asked about the hotel, if the hotel are new or renovation. Umayma, we have 3 new hotels. Marriott International Hotel, we have Ibis Hotel and Novotel. These are new. And we have Cirta Hotel is renovated hotel. Panoramic also. I think it's under
It's called
Marriott.
It's called Protea. Yeah? It's under Marriott.
Marriott, I think, yes.
Yeah.
I think it's enough for tourism, these hotels. Huh?
You know, Constantine is a
small.
very huge city. It counts 1 million people, inhabitants. So it's a huge city. 950,000 inhabitants in the Grand Constantine. But in the city of Constantine, you have 450,000 inhabitants.
Mm-hmm.
That's a lot of people. So 3 or 4 hotels are not really enough. They're very few. So when you have conferences or whatever held in hotels. It's just booked on. You cannot have a place.
Moment, please. I just plug my phone.
But even is a good place to visit, Constantine. Still a good place for tourism and perfect. If the government open this opportunity for tourism, they will be, if you go to see the city, it's spectacular.
Once I received an architect from Tunisia, from Hammamet, and his father is an investor in tourism. He has some hotels in Hammamet. He came to visit me in Constantine. It was for the first time he came in Constantine.
Yeah.
When he saw the city after having a tour in the city, he told me, if we had a city like this in Constantine, in Tunisia, we will be the #1 in tourism in the world.
Sure.
Yes.
Yes. I
absolutely.
think even if any director of films from Hollywood see the beauty of Constantine, for sure you will have an incredible film there, for sure.
Yeah. I think the Constantine is the
the Hollywood films. If one of the directors see the beauty of Constantine, for sure you will have a nice film there.
Movie.
Yeah, in whatever picture, whatever movie you see about Constantine, it's far from what you can feel in the reality. The reality is very stronger. It's more spectacular. You can never experience what you can experience in reality in Constantine. It's really something very spectacular.
It's the most beautiful city on the world. One of the most, not the most.
One of the most.
One of the most.
Yeah,
yes, beautiful.
It's
by its geography.
Site, yes.
Yes, the site, the nature.
I used to have a professor in Constantine. He was from Siberia in Russia. When he came to Constantine for the first time, and when he went to visit the canyon, he stand on the rock, and he said, "My God, I've never seen such a view in my life." And a lot of people. I received a lot of friends. I received from the United States, from France, or from Italy. The last time I received a friend from Italy, he was a professor. He's now a professor in Italy, and he was I was a colleague in the United States. We went to visit the canyon, and we saw people sitting on the rock and looking to the emptiness. He stood, and he was silent for quite a moment, and then he said, "People are looking at the emptiness to feel the emptiness inside. You can never feel that emptiness in reality."
Yeah.
I don't know if you can catch the point.
Yes. Yes, I think we are running out. We have extra time. But I want to thank you again, Djaber, for this opportunity. Thank you, Professor Hossein. Thank you, everyone, for being with us.
Thank you.
and I hope you enjoyed the presentation. Thank you and see you soon.
Thank you. Thank you, Mr.
Okay, thank you.
Boumaza. Thank you all.
Thank you.
Mahiddin.
Thank you, everybody. Thank you so
Thank
much.
you, everybody.
Thank you for inviting me.
Bye-bye.
Okay, bye-bye. Bye-bye.